हेलो एंड अ वेरी गुड इवनिंग टू ऑल ऑफ यू एंड थैंक्स फॉर जॉइनिंग अस वंस अगेन। और आज हम आपके लिए कुछ स्पेशल लेकर आए हैं, मतलब धमाका होना चाहिए ना। सो वी हैव गॉट अ धमाकेदार शो फॉर यू एंड वी हैव अ धमाकेदार डेब्यू, digital debut, if you can say. He's a legend of journalism, cricket journalism in India, just like K. Srinivas Rao. So we will be waiting to welcome Mr. Vijay Tagore on the show very, very quickly. लेकिन उससे पहले हम आपको बता दें, Beyond the Boundary पे episode number 2, The Big Splash, we're going to be talking about IPL retention rules, how it's impacted the different franchisees, who's happy, who's not happy, all the lowdown. We will be discussing the IPL 2025 auction rules, retention rules, and how things are going to play out. I'm Chetan Narula, your host as always, and with me, Keshanivas Rao, Group Sports Editor of Times of India. Welcome to the show, Srini. And of course, with us, we also have Sahil Malhotra, who is sports editor at the Times of India Group as well. So, welcome to you both. How do we start this, Srini? Do you want to set a baseline? Like, let's go in with the retentions, the rules, the auction. How is it going to play out in terms of, you know, it's a very interesting 2 days of IPL auctions that are going to be coming.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, very interesting. I mean, we'll obviously, the show is about the rules and the new rules in place, the retention rules in place. We're going to be talking about all of this. Quite a lot to talk about. Before we set the tone for what exactly these changes are, let
Hmm.
me kind of put it down here right at the outset that I'm not a believer in these rule changes.
Okay.
The reason is that for a tournament as big as the IPL, when you're expecting some kind of a global audience to get attracted to the property that you're trying to create, in that I think a bit of continuity is what is required. Now, what has happened with IPL is that every single year you see something new.
Hmm.
The fans have just about digested something which you've already given it to them. By the time they have understood and seen how it can work out, see the result that it can throw, you've already changed it and given them something new. You know, that
Yeah,
I think.
basically,
Mm,
yeah, just to interject, yes, ये तो established है ही कि every 3 years, we make changes, we bring in the major auctions, big auctions, things change. इस बार, let's be honest, and Sahil, I also want to bring you in here. This time, ahead of, first of all, it was a big decision कि mega auction होना भी चाहिए या it should be a mini auction. Second, obviously, अगर mega auction होना भी चाहिए, it was a big push from the franchisees that they should be able to retain the crux of their players. Sunrisers, KKR, MI, CSK. So all of that was there. It was a big push. I don't think कि 15-16 साल में फ्रेंचाइजीज ने इतना मिलकर, मे बी वन और टू, लेकिन मिलकर क्या कभी फ्रेंचाइजीज ने इतना पुश किया है कि वी नीड टू स्टार्ट रिटेनिंग द कोर ऑफ आवर टीम्स.
I think no, it hasn't happened, and recency bias has played a major role in that. If you take a look at teams like KKR and SRH, and if you would have asked them 4 years back, "Ki boss will give you an option to retain 6 players," they would have been the first few franchises to keep their hands down because they were struggling. But now, because they have done so well in the last edition and they finally have got things going their way, they naturally want to retain a larger chunk of the players. But BCCI said, hang on, you want players, we'll give you at a premium because we, as the Indian Cricket Board, still believe that in this current IPL ecosystem, the mega auction is still very, very much relevant. This ecosystem is still in the early days to get probably a draft system which we see elsewhere in other leagues going around the world. So for an IPL ecosystem to continue thriving, I think the auction is that very important piece of that puzzle. And BCCI doesn't want to devalue the auction. They've made some sane changes. वो mega auction wala, mini auction wala, you just can't pick and choose auctions now. So that continuity is, which we were talking about, is kind of maintained. But the message is very loud and clear. The Indian Cricket Board doesn't want to devalue the auction. They've told the franchises, you want the players, we'll give you the players, but make sure to burn a hole in the pocket. As simple as that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's take a look at those IPL retention rules once again. उन पे काफी बड़ा impact होगा, the kind of purses, the kind of the kind of players that they get back. First of all, they can retain. They can retain up to 6 players each for the 25 season. I think this is, correct me if I'm wrong, Sahil. I think this is the most number of players ever that they can retain. And
Yeah,
obviously, इसमें एक mix and match रहेगा overseas and Indian players का. So up to 6 players, and then there is a right to match option. उसके बारे में हम डिटेल में बात करेंगे. Right to match obviously plays out during the mega auction. The impact player rule remains, and the auction purse has been increased by 20 crores. एक यहाँ पर आगे बढ़ते हैं. Let's go to the retention rules. Let's take a look at what the retention rules will be like. जैसा हमने कहा कि 6 players can be retained. And before we talk about, I think let's do this. We are waiting for him to come online. We'll just wait for him to we'll just wait for him to come and come in his avatar. Let's talk about the retention rules. तब तक 6 retentions और right to match options, जिसमें से ये बहुत important होने वाला है 5 capped players, whether they are the overseas players or the Indian players, and a maximum of 2 uncapped players. And I think the capped rule, we all know, is going to play in the hands of one particular franchisee. We'll discuss about that as well. So, guys, okay, yes. First of all, we'll also talk about kitna retention ka hai. We'll come back to that. But first of all, what do you make of it? 6 players, Srini, good enough to retain the core of your team?
I don't see any franchise retaining 6 players. Only one.
Okay.
Only one
Okay.
franchise.
6.
And
Okay.
why? 6. I mean, 5 retentions, right? So let's stick to 5 retentions. I don't see any franchise retaining five cricketers except for one.
Okay.
And in fact, one major catalyst in why this will happen is because of what you just mentioned. The price premium for the number 4 and the number 5 player, right?
Okay.
As we go further in the show, we're going to look at who those players are for each franchise, and then we're going to take a call on whether those premiums that are being asked for, the rupees 18 crore, rupees 14 cr premiums, are they really worth it? So we'll kind of get, oh, there comes the man. So first we'll welcome Mr. Tagore,
Yeah.
and then we'll
First
get
of all,
going with the conversation.
First of all, of course, Mr. Vijay Tagore, obviously one of the most prominent cricket journalists in India, very senior figure. Welcome to the show, sir. Beyond the Boundary on Times of India Sports page. And of course, this is his digital debut. So double Mubarak banti hai.
I think not just digital debut, it is his debut across digital, television, everything. Yes.
Okay, broadcast
Yeah.
debut. You can see that.
First time in front of the camera. So, cheers, congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, let's start with you. In terms of the IPL retention rules, we were just discussing 6 players to be retained. A lot of हमने ये अभी तक डिस्कस किया है कि it was a major push from the franchisee this time to retain a core of their sides. What is your thought on that, Vijay?
So first of all, personally, I think the IPL retentions, the rules were very exhaustively researched. They are very well thought of and very well done. I don't know who is the brain behind these rules, but even the franchises are surprised that this kind of rules have come. Who is the advisor? Earlier, IMG was there. IMG was doing it. We can understand. Now, BCCI, somebody in BCCI has framed this kind of rules. It is completely hats off. It is stunning rules. Nobody expected. First thing. Second thing, I personally think there is a kind of undercurrent from the BCCI that they want more people in the retention in the auction. So they are
Okay.
discouraging the franchisees to to retain more people. That is the reason that they have given 4th and 5th prices are very high. So very difficult for the franchises to retain. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Yeah.
And
So यहाँ
third is the new
yeah.
retention, new RTM rule they have given. That is also a kind of deterrent. So I think the BCCI wants the franchisees to release and bid for auction rather than retain. And finally, the master stroke of all is the match fees. Match fees of 7.5 lakhs per match, which is the 1 crore almost. In most cases, not in all cases, in most cases, their match fees will be more than their salary actually, their IPL fee. So, which is a masterstroke, I think. It is a very player-friendly rules, and uh, if they want auction to be more spiced up.
Srini, we have discussed so many times na ki, IPL was always about English Premier League and NFL and this and that. And it needed to go that way. हम लोगों ने कितनी बार डिस्कस किया है कि it needs to be more player friendly. The players, इतना बड़ा money pool मिल रहा है, rights value मिल रहा है. The players should be earning more. So as Vijay sir says कि it's more auction friendly. They want more players in the auction, more bids. Match fee का concept लेकर आया है. This is the first step towards moving towards that, becoming more player friendly, giving more salary incentives to the players.
Yeah, I mean, this is a step in that direction. I completely agree. This is a step in that direction. Although, I mean, I've been saying this for a long time. BCCI needs to do a lot more. If you're going to kind of, we like to talk about the IPL as one of the top five leagues anywhere in the world in terms of what NBA does or what the NFL does, what MLB does, and largely we tend to speak about these things only from a media rights standpoint. But
Yeah.
if we were to delve deeper, then probably the one thing that we're going to be looking at is outside of media rights, the IPL still has a lot of potential to grow at multiple levels. Player
Hmm.
parameters are right up there. That's why at the start of this conversation, I did not mean at any point that the auction rules are not attractive. They're extremely attractive. They've been packaged very nicely. But having said that, what I would like to see of the product is continuity over a period of time. So next time when we hold auctions, retain some of the rules that you've put in place now, and that's how the longevity stays. So that's what I meant. Having said that, I'm totally in line as Vijay mentioned. I just think that the BCCs did a great job in terms of packaging these new rules very very nicely. As we go further in the show, we will try and understand why. Some really interesting stuff.
Right. Let's talk about these rules. First of all, जैसे हमने कहा ना कि retention slabs जो हैं, first three retentions, 18 crore, 14 crore, and 11 crore. So that's your first three players. There it is. Next two retentions, 18 crore and 14 crore. And this is where Vijay Tagore's point come in. Uh, you know, दे मेकिंग इट टफर. मतलब आपने तीन रिटेन कर लिए, उसके बाद आप सोचोगे कि यार फोर्थ और फिफ्थ में भी आपको 32 करोड़ देना है. यू रियली नीड टू हैव प्लेयर्स जिसपे आप 18 और 14 करोड़ स्पेंड करना चाहो. विजय, योर कमेंट ऑन दिस.
Yeah, the fourth and fifth is a very well thought out. So what I think is many franchises. See, apart from Mumbai Indians, I don't know if Rajasthan Royals maybe the third. I don't. Delhi Capitals, of course, they have already announced their players they want to retain. But other teams would think when they go beyond the third retention, fourth retention, easy worth 18 crore or easy like KKR. I say, they go for Sunil Narayan, Rinku Singh, or maybe Phil Salt. But if they go Andy Russell, they want to go. Is he worth 18 crore? They must think. Okay. So same way, if you go to RCB, Virat Kohli, they take 18 crores. Fine. After that, who? If they okay, Mohammad Siraj, okay, Cameron Green is okay. But fourth player,
आरसीबी का ना आरसीबी का केस ऐसा है कि
हाँ,
वो ना आप प्रेडिक्ट नहीं कर सकते. वो कुछ ऐसा कर देंगे
yeah,
कि हम लोग अपना सर मारते रह जाएंगे कंप्यूटर स्क्रीन पर. सो आरसीबी इज अ टोटली डिफरेंट केस. I interjected because you mentioned Delhi Capitals have already decided their retention list. Why don't you read that out for us? Ki who are their retainers? Who are they retaining?
they have announced right. Rishabh Pant will be their number one, and Akshar Patel and Kuldeep Yadav. I think that is the order. Then they will
Hmm.
go for two foreigners, that
Hmm.
McGurk and
Hmm.
Christian Stubbs. The
Yeah.
sixth player they want to, as a uncapped player, they want to retain Abhishek Porel. So those are
Okay.
the six players. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
uh,
So यहाँ पर हम uncapped players की बात करें. So you have if you retain an uncapped player, that's 4 crores. But I think uncapped players के मामले में after retaining 5 players, 3 and 2, they'll go with the right to match for Abhishek Porel. We'll have to wait how
yeah.
that particular thing plays out. Srini and Sahil, your thoughts on this making retention tough, really tough. क्योंकि मैं ये इसीलिए बोल रहा हूँ. specifically Mumbai Indians, because this is going to benefit Mumbai Indians a lot because they have so many star players, and obviously you need to give out big money to those star players. But last time Mumbai struggled because they retained a lot of players, then they spent a lot of money in the auction, and overall their squad became weaker, which we saw why they struggled in the IPL seasons. At least the first two seasons they really struggled.
Sahil, go ahead.
Yeah,
No,
okay.
no, both of you, one by one, both of you.
I'll say that. Let's Sahil go.
Yeah.
So, see, no matter how much you talk about these retentions, the message, as Vijay sir even wrote in his piece right after the auction, he clearly mentioned that, BCCI has given that message very loud and clear. If you want to retain players, retain them at a bloody premium. And that premium is a lot. If you end up retaining 5 of your players, you don't have much to play up in the auctions. And this is the same problem which Mumbai Indians will face at the auction table, because they've got their last 2 auctions terribly wrong. They've got their auctions very wrong, right from that Jofra Archer bid, where they played a big punt on Archer, which never paid off for them. Mumbai Indians have just messed up their auction and their squad composition. You just can't go in with the IPL season with Piyush Chawla as your lead spinner. With all due respect to Piyush Chawla, since Krunal Pandya, they have struggled to get that left arm spinner, tall left arm spinner, which people in MI have told me that they prefer a tall left arm spinner considering the dimensions of Wankhede and how the breeze kind of plays a role there. So they still haven't ticked those boxes. So more than the retentions, I think Mumbai should be worried about cracking that auction. Scouting, wouting, सब कुछ ठीक है बाबा. वहां जब पेडल उठाते हो तो करेक्ट खिलाड़ी पे उठाओ. 11 जो बनाते हो सही बनाओ. स्काउट करके निहाल वगैरह लाओगे, तिलक वर्मा लाओगे, एक आध मैच ले जाएंगे वो आपके लिए. राइट नाउ you need a squad which wins the title for you. 5 टाइटल जीते हो, छठा आने के लिए बहुत स्ट्रगल करना पड़ेगा और कड़क स्क्वाड इकट्ठा करना पड़ेगा.
Okay, Srini, your thoughts on this? Because
I agree with the left arm spinner bit though. Tall left arm spinner. I mean, the most successful, tallest left arm spinner India has ever produced is from Mumbai, who made his bones at the Wankhede, Nilesh Kulkarni. They used to call him Amitabh Bachchan of Dombivli. Anyways, the point is, coming back to this conversation, we're looking at the BCCI side of things, how intelligent BCCI has been, in terms of, in terms of packaging these auction buckets so well. I mean, retentions, the 4th and the 5th player, putting a premium so that teams are discouraged to kind of. Now, let me play the devil here. This conversation is going very sweetly, right? So it can't be so sweet. So let me play the devil here. Has anybody given a thought, like, kind of what would happen if these premiums were not given? The 14 and 18 CR premium, why have they been given? See, I would like to think a bit differently also here. Is that what is the problem that a franchise like Mumbai Indians would have started to face? Let's look at this list, the names in front of us. What is the problem that a franchise like Mumbai Indians would have started to face if that number 4 and number 5 premium was not available? You would retain Hardik Pandya at number 1, obviously because he's the captain, right? Then who would you retain at number 2, Rohit Sharma or Jasprit Bumrah?
Or Sky for that matter.
I mean, let's go in the order. Let's go in order. It has to be Jasprit Bumrah ahead of anyone else, I'm assuming, in the current scheme of things, right? Or maybe Rohit could be number 1, Hardik could be number 2. What this new rule has done is it has just rolled the pitch perfectly for the top 4. Tum bhi khush, main bhi khush, ye bhi khush, ye bhi khush. Hardik Pandya number 1, Jasprit Bumrah number 2, both are happy. Rohit Sharma number 4, Surya Kumar Yadav number 5, both happy, which means Hardik Pandya and Rohit Sharma earn the same salary. Jasprit Bumrah and Surya Kumar Yadav earn the same salary. Now, the point I'm trying to make is I don't see any other franchise in this tournament with such a star-studded lineup as the Mumbai Indians have. Any of these players, whether it's Surya or Bumrah or Rohit or Hardik, any of these players going into the auction will most easily fetch 25 CR in today's market, or probably more. In the case of Bumrah, he might just go beyond 30 CR for the brand that he is, right? In today's market, if Mumbai Indians is getting to save them at salaries of 18 CR and 14 CR, without having to go to the auction and even use something, let's say like the right to match, it's a winner. Now, I'm not saying it's a winner. The new rules have worked out in such a way that I don't think any franchise benefits the way Mumbai Indians does.
No, there's no doubt about that, and we are having a lot of comments. And please, thanks for participating. Please keep sending your comments. आप सवाल जरूर भेजिए. आपके retentions जो हैं, रविशंकर कुमार, thanks for sending that. ये comment रखना साहिल. बुमराह 18 crore, हार्दिक 18 crore, ईशान and Tim David 11 crore, सूर्य कुमार 18, वधेरा 4 crore. मतलब रविशंकर कुमार ने ये प्रेडिक्ट किया था कि रोहित शर्मा नहीं रहेंगे मुंबई इंडियंस में. दिस इज हिज रिटेंशन बेस्ड ऑन दैट. ओके, ये कल इन्होंने बोला था कि रोहित शर्मा नहीं रहेंगे.
एक साल से बोल रहे हैं ये, कल से
एक साल से बोल रहे हैं साहिल.
हैं.
Okay, let me bring Vijay Tagore in here. Vijay sir, what is your thought process behind Mumbai Indians probable retentions? Are we going? हमारे बहुत सारे जो हमारे audience हैं जुड़ा हुआ है, they are very interested. Will Rohit stay at MI? And also, what is happening with the retention, especially with the order and the right to match? क्योंकि यहाँ पर जो एक face है वो है पीयूष चावला का. What happens to Ishan Kishan right to match में? Last time in the auction they spent what, 13, 14, 15 crore तक गए थे. Can they afford to do that in the right to match in the auction once again?
See, Mumbai Indians, it is very easy. Most of it, what Srini said was correct. The first four players, they can be at any number. Each player deserves 14 crore and 18 crore. So they're all stars, no less than the other. The Rohit Sharma, I think, is a no-brainer. He has to stay in Mumbai Indians, and they will not let go of him. That is my personal opinion, but that is not my information, as I said.
Okay.
And fifth, as you mentioned, I'm not very sure. Tilak Verma, I think they might go for Ishan Kishan, but there is a fifth player. They can always go for RTM also. That is an option. But the top four, Rohit Sharma, I think will stay, and the other three, Hardik, Bumrah, and Surya, are they can be at any number. And I think Mumbai Indians team has managed them so well, and they will not be minding being at any number.
Okay.
No, Chetan, before you kind of go ahead, I have a question for Vijay sir. Ever since Vijay sir, you broke that story of KL Rahul flying down to Calcutta for a meeting with LSG owners, there have been plenty of questions around what will happen with KL Rahul, and I have 20 comments just for you asking one question.
Yeah.
Vijay Tagore sir, will LSG release KL Rahul or just retain as a player? Sir, your personal opinion on everything which you heard.
I think if KL Rahul is retained, he will be retained as number one. There is no other position for him. Nicholas Puran, I'm sure. Nicholas Puran and that Mayank Yadav and Bishnoi will be there. But KL Rahul has to be retained. He will be at number one at no other way. So I think it is in the interest of it is in the interest of KL himself and also for the franchisee. I think he will stay because the fact that he went all the way to Calcutta, to tell them not to say that don't retain me, I personally think.
That's logically हाँ वो वहां तक नहीं जाएंगे. KL Rahul will not go all the way to say कि okay you don't retain me, but there's this question mark in terms of where he would be allowed to bat. Will he be allowed to run the team his way? Lot of people are interested in whether KL Rahul will go to RCB, जैसा अभी अरविंद का question mark आया है, because we'll talk about RCB as well. लेकिन the big question is, last year KL Rahul wanted to bat in the middle order. Obviously he did not bat in the middle order. He opened the innings. There is a lot of, हम इस चीज को नहीं deny कर सकते हैं कि there is influence of the owners, management, and that happens in a lot of teams as well. So what is the backstory here in terms of, okay, he wants to be retained, and obviously if he wants to be retained, he will be retained at 18 crores. LSG ने जब KL Rahul को लिया था, they paid top dollar for him, and they will continue to pay top dollar for him. But are we going to see the Rahul, the T20 batter that people don't want to see, or are we going to see the batter that people actually want to see batting in the middle order and making more impression on the game than as an opener?
There are two things, Chetan, here. See, the RCB wanting KL is not, unfounded. Their baseless talk nahi hai. But there is no guarantee that RCB can get KL in the auction. There is no guarantee there. Okay,
Okay.
and if want LSG might even use RTM. So
Hmm.
the best thing is for both LSG, RCB, and also KL, is that he stays here for this year. Then next year he gets transferred, traded. Okay, so
Okay.
that is one thing about the KL and the RCB league, because there is a pressure from on RCB. I understand from the Karnataka government that he should have more Karnataka players, local players. There is a kind
Okay.
of some policy there, so he's there. So KL being in RCB makes a lot of sense for a lot of people. So it is KL stays here first year, then gets traded with all everybody benefiting. Second thing, where he bats, I think that is the where negotiation. If Mr. Goenka pays him 18 crore, he will say that I want these are things I'm expecting. And
Hmm.
if KL stays that okay, I'm staying for you, so I want my career also is important. So there will be some negotiations involving Jahir Khan also. So
Okay.
there will be some kind of middle ground they'll reach. So all
Hmm.
all the interests are addressed. KL's interest is addressed, LSG interest also addressed. RCB I think will come next year.
Okay, that's big news, and obviously you are hearing it first here on Beyond the Boundary, Times of India Sports. That KL Rahul, maybe not to RCB, not this year, maybe next year. So that is a space to watch out for. Sahil, any info that you might want to share on this one? Because I say that because Zahir Khan, now there's a change of mentor. Gautam Gambhir, excellent mentor. Now he's the coach of the Indian team. He had some great inputs at LSG. Now we have a new face coming up and obviously new ideas coming up. What do you read into that situation, Zahir Khan at LSG?
A very good move, right? Zaire has been away from the IPL ecosystem for quite some time now. Was doing commentary for Geo. Was away from the Mumbai Indians dugout. Now he's back in the mix.
Yeah.
Back with the power required to kind of call the shots in a franchise. And with regards to KL Rahul, I observed something from Dinesh Karthik, and he just doesn't fire anything in the air without any logic or without any sense behind that. And he was actually batting and advocating for KL Rahul in the middle order in the shortest format. This was when he came out to bat in the first innings of the Bangladesh Test series, and Dinesh Karthik made a very valid point that KL probably is one batter who has been so much up and down in his career when it comes to batting positions, and he has more often than not adjusted to different situations and positions kind of quite seamlessly. And if he's harboring any hopes of kind of making it to India's T20 side, I don't see that opening at top of the order because अभी traffic jam लगा है boss. Yashasvi, Shubman, Ruturaj Gaikwad, Ishan Kishan, that list is endless. So if you want to kind of sneak your way into somewhere or something, you just need to have that muscle for that middle order role, because who's there, right? As your keeper, you have Jitesh Sharma, you have Dhruv Jurel, a keeper who can kind of give you those runs in the lower middle order. And if you want to be the third keeper, you need to do that in the IPL. And I remember Vijay sir did that story last year before the season that there's going to be a strong possibility of KL Rahul looking to bat in the middle order. And people
Yeah.
told me from the LSG dugout too, कि KL Bhai is looking to bat in the middle order. But something kind of last pull of the strings by the owners and all the stakeholders involved, and KL batted the way he always does in the IPL at a strike rate of 120 at top of the order. So let's see what happens in this IPL. But to me, if he wants to kind of harbor any hopes of making to India's T20 side, the only place for him right now could be
Absolutely.
in the middle order. That's how I
Absolutely.
look at cricketing wise.
Absolutely. Okay, let's move on. Let's go to Chennai Super Kings. Because another big franchisee, and we know, जैसे हमने बात की, Mumbai Indians benefits from 5 retentions, right to match. एक uncapped rule है where Chennai Super Kings is going to benefit a lot. Obviously, we saw a major change where Ruturaj Gaikwad became the skipper. I think the two rules that benefit CSK, one is where you have the uncapped rule, and then of course the power player sub. You can have that substitution where somebody like an MS Dhoni can have an impact on the game even if he's batting at number 9, or they can bring in alternate batter, etc., etc. So how do you see this? We'll go to Srini and then we'll go to Vijay sir.
This is a no-brainer. Chennai is retaining three cricketers.
Hmm.
Gaikwad is their number one player. Jadeja is their number two player. Pathirana is their number three player at 11 CR. They get a brilliant bowler for that kind of money. And then
Hmm.
their one uncapped retention is MS Dhoni. And that's
Yeah.
the only retentions Chennai is doing.
Okay. Not Shivam Dubey.
No, I mean, the price, because see, the premium goes up.
Okay.
The premium goes up, and neither at 14 nor at 18 is anybody worth the kind of money. and you are anyways investing that kind of money in a Jadeja and a Pathirana.
Hmm.
And I don't think Dubai may be a great asset, but I want to see if they want to spend 18 CR in the day and age of an impact player. See, the impact player rule still exists for another 2 years.
Yeah.
So while the impact player rule still exists, do you want to kind of take this chance with Dubai, or you want to go and use? You always have the right to match option in the auction, right? So
Hmm.
you can save those options, go there, use the right to match option, and while save some money here before you prepare for the auction. Yeah, tell me.
Vijay sir, your thought on this? Obviously, the impact player rule allows MS Dhoni to continue playing, as also the uncapped rule. How does CSK? We talked about MI being happy with how, or the BCCI, they're being happy with how the BCCI has played this. Are CSK happy with how the BCCI has played this?
I think Gaikwad, Jadeja, and Patirana are 100% sure. Dhoni is a
Hmm.
no-brainer. They would have retained him if the BCCI had allowed only one retention. So
Hmm.
Dhoni also comes along. So the other two is Dubey and maybe one of the foreign opening batsmen.
Hmm.
That New Zealander Malcolm or
Yeah.
Devon Malcolm. That. So one
Devon
of them,
Conway or
Devon Conway.
Rashid,
Devon Conway.
Rashid Ravindra or
So,
Devon
or
Conway?
Dubey, maybe they will go for RTM. The problem with Dubai, can Dubai be, is Dubai worth 11 crores, or can they get in for 5 crores in the auction? So that is the consideration. So, okay, Jadeja can be number three, Gaikwad can be number one, Patirana can be number two. So 14 crores, 18 hota hai. And,
Hmm.
that Dubai, whether they should go for 11 crore as a number three or something. So that slot may,
Hmm.
or will they get him for, 6 crores or 7 crores, even with our team. Same with that Conway also. So I think they will weigh that option of going to RTM for Dubai and Devon Conway.
Okay, here's a question. Here's a question. Srini, we've seen, uh, MS Dhoni with the uncapped. Obviously, the rules have been made to benefit certain franchisees, certain players to keep MS Dhoni playing. It's a good move, right? MS Dhoni being there, आप ये बहुत आपको ये कहने को नहीं मिलता है, but the IPL as a brand benefits from it, right? MS Dhoni keep on playing, fans want it, the franchisees, all franchisees want it, the broadcasters want it. It helps the brand. It's a no-brainer. So, अगर वो खेलना चाहते हैं, you make a rule so that he keeps on playing. Am I right there?
Let me tell you this. If for example Chennai Super Kings were to say, for it, they will never
No.
say it in their dreams, but if CSK were to say, okay, you know what, we don't want to spend this kind of money on MS Dhoni, Geo Cinema will say, boss, here is 18 CR from our
मैं
side,
देता
please
हूँ,
keep.
हाँ.
Please keep him.
Yeah.
In fact, you want premium, we will pay that premium also. You see, boss, year after year after year,
Hmm.
if I were to put the television numbers in front of you, okay, without any filter,
Hmm.
CSK just walks away with the cake, okay,
Yeah, absolutely.
and despite their toughest competitors sitting with the most star-studded lineup, if there is one man who seriously gives that entire star-studded lineup a competition, you may have, people. I see a lot of people with a lot of viewpoints and a lot of, big picture ideas and everything. But the simple fact is that numbers don't lie, and the numbers are in front of us. MS Dhoni is to Indian Premier League what Shah Rukh Khan is to Hindi movie industry, what Rajni Khan is to Tamil Nadu movie industry. It's as simple as that. These numbers don't lie. These numbers are in front of us, and not just television numbers, mind you, Chetan.
Yeah.
Yeah, on Instagram, across social media, the kind of the kind of engagement that MS Dhoni draws, whether by way of positive news, whether by way of trolling, whether by way of competition, whichever way you want to put it, everything. See, a Virat Kohli fan comes and gives, let's say, abuses another cricketer fan, or says something to another. That's not the issue. Is he's still drawing engagement for Virat Kohli? You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So
Yeah.
when it comes to just the overall engagement, I don't think anybody brings more engagement to the tournament that IPL is
Yeah.
than Ms. Dhoni. And having said that, let me also say this: people are asking, why will MS Dhoni settle for 4 CR? As an uncapped player.
Five now.
Listen,
Yeah, because he's also going to get match fees also, no? So almost
forget
five.
match fees. Forget, this is like, one toothpick for him. Like 4 CR and the match fees. he will make 150 cr with brand endorsements as long as he's a player.
Yeah,
People
yeah.
don't understand. People just see these salary packets and get too overawed. MS Dhoni just continuing to play. See, CSK has a sponsor on the chest. Let's say the sponsor is paying whatever 80 cr for 3 years, right? Tomorrow, if MS Dhoni goes away, that 80 cr comes down to 50 cr. Just one man going away. So
No,
that's
no.
the value that he brings to the
Okay.
table.
अभी हमारे सामने CSK का jersey है. Let's look at the sponsors there. You have TVS Eurogrip, you have Gulf Oil. I'll categorically tell you these two sponsors are there because of MS Dhoni. The moment he goes away, these sponsors go away or they reduce their pricing. So yeah, I mean, I hope Bhavik Haswani, you've got your answer. We'll move on from the MS Dhoni question, and because there's another question, हमने बात की है right to match card की. हमने देखा है कि जब भी मेजर ऑक्शंस होते हैं, जो मेगा ऑक्शंस होते हैं, इंडियन प्लेयर्स, कैप्ड इंडियन प्लेयर्स समटाइम्स गो एट अ प्रीमियम. So somebody like a Shivam Dube, who's very good against spin, despite let's be honest, a lack of footwork, he's very decent against spin. आपके पास impact play rule है, so he doesn't have to bowl much as well. So you can use him at number 3, number 4, attack the spinners, etc., etc. There is a danger here that if they don't retain somebody like a Shivam Dube, they might have to pay a big mega buck. जैसे अब हम we'll come to the right to match rules as well in just a bit. I'll request the producer to show us the RTM rules during the auction, because इस पे बहुत debate हो रहा है to find. Why I'm saying this is because we're talking about finding the true value of the player. So Vijay sir, can you take us through this rule, and then we'll come to the Dube question. What happens when you do the right to match इन द प्लेयर ऑक्शन? ये पहले की तरह सिंपल नहीं है कि आपको 9 करोड़ का प्लेयर मिला, आपने पैडल रेस किया, 9 करोड़ में आप ले गए. दिस टाइम थिंग्स हैव चेंज्ड. Producer, I'm requesting again to put the RTM graphic. Meanwhile, Vijay Tagore sir, please explain.
See that rule is actually that rule is a kind of deterrent that not to go for kind of retentions. See retention rule they have put 18 and 14 crores number 4 and 5, and
Yeah,
this a new RTM clause that after the bidding is over, the winning bidder he has the option to raise the bid by in any amount. Those two rules I am very little bit comfortable. They are contradictory to each other. you know
okay.
at one side BCCI is saying that don't you want more people to be in the option, not in the retained. So when this RTM is there, RTM clause is there, somebody suppose Patirana some or Shivam Dube, both are he goes for 11 crores, and CSK wants to RTM him for 11 crore, then if the Delhi is the winning bid at the time, he can increase it by 6 crores. There is arbitrary. So first thing, I'm
Yeah,
not very comfortable with arbitrary number. Second thing
yeah.
is, so by putting this clause, BCCI is asking the player rather to go for retention rather than for RTM. Okay, so this RTM rule, these two are little bit contradictory to each other. I personally think I'm a little bit uncomfortable. But as you said that at the end the winning team can arbitrarily increase the bid by any amount actually, and
Okay,
after
Shrini,
that the RTM can be exercised.
Shrini, आप क्या सोचते हैं इस बारे में? Because you have thoughts about the value, the player value. आप believe करते हैं कि हमें इससे player value मिलेगा? Are we looking at the true player value? Because I asked this question because let's say 9 करोड़ पे आपके लिए शिवम दुबे का मैच हो गया, right to match हो गया. Then the second team has a chance to increase their bid. Is that fair? क्योंकि that could be an arbitrary number. They say कि okay, you know what, 9 करोड़ हमने किया, आपने right to match कर दिया, हम 12 करोड़ कर रहे हैं, 14 करोड़ कर रहे हैं, 15 करोड़ कर रहे हैं. Because we've seen these tricks being played in the auctions. I'm not going to
नहीं
name the
नहीं
franchisees or the
नहीं
owners,
नहीं,
but
right to
we've
match
seen
तब
these
तक
tricks.
आता नहीं. I think there's a bit of confusion here. One second, I'll just kind of say a few things. It'll all add up in the end. First of all, this was one of the ideas being propagated by Shah Rukh Khan. Shah Rukh was was extremely bent on the idea that right to match is a very fair way to discover market value of a cricketer in the current scheme of things, which I am totally in agreement with. Shahrukh and his team were actually kind of very loud about this, that right to match का option जितना ज्यादा हो सके उतना रहना चाहिए. Fair enough. ये जो आप जो बोल रहे हैं towards the end, somebody puts a final bid and then you put a right to match and then I increase it again. I'll come to that. I'll come to that. But before that, I want to like quickly add something on the right to match thing. Why I also think, while Shah Rukh Khan thinks it's a it gives me great market value. Yes, it does. And it let's say if I'm a franchise who has a cricketer who I bought for 25 cr, I have no choice but to retain him for 18 cr because that's the benchmark for retention. Now the question is, if I were to retain in my mind, I'm thinking, is this guy 18 worth 18 cr today? No, I don't think so. I think he's worth the 11 cr bracket. But the player is not agreeing. Player is saying, listen, I was bought for 25 cr. Now you are not even giving me 18 cr. You were saying 11 cr is good for me. I would rather go to the auction. So me as a franchise, I'm saying, you know what? You go to the auction. Let's see what kind of a price you get there, and there we will determine what is the real value. Okay. So from that sense, however, beauty lies in the eye of the beholder. So naturally, when you, let's say Mumbai Indians, they bought a Tilak Verma when he was a bacha, and from there they kind of guided him to become the player that he became. So for Mumbai Indians, the value of Tilak Verma may not be the same as how a Punjab Kings may value a Tilak Verma, primarily because their investment is in front of them. So they will add a premium to the value that they have invested. So from that sense, it doesn't really add up. Point number two, the RTM card, the RTM option, one of the reasons why I don't believe it is, we were talking about KL Rahul. Now, I'm particularly, kind of in the case of KL Rahul, Vijay said that, why would he have gone to Kolkata if he didn't want to kind of continue with the franchise? Maybe that's one of the ways of looking at it. The point is, what if KL would have gone to Kolkata to say, sir, retain mat karo? Okay, usse zyada. He would have gone to Kolkata to say, sir, मैं जा रहा हूं, दूसरा फ्रेंचाइज मुझे पिक करने वाला है, आप राइट टू मैच चूज मत करना प्लीज. Okay, our guy has decided that listen, I want to go to RCB.
और अगर राइट टू मैच करोगे भी, तो उसमें 4 करोड़ एक्स्ट्रा मत ऐड कर देना. Don't make me a 22 CR player that nobody else will buy me.
Precisely. KL says, I want to leave. Forget it. See, everything is not just about money. Let's say the Karnataka government wants KL back. RCB wants KL back. As Vijay said, Karnataka government wants Karnataka cricketers to stay in Karnataka. Beyond that, RCB, I can tell you, is in a hunting mode. Not just KL. They have approached like 3 players from 3 different franchises. Nothing has been working for them. Okay. But the bottom line is that KL, let's say if he wants to go to RCB, RCB has told him, okay, what? You go to the auction, we'll go the whole hog for you. And they go up to 18 CR, they get the guy they want, and then inbox Mr. Goenka and says, you know what? Yeah, take 20 CR, come with me.
Okay, let's move on from this and let's go to
that's
RCB.
Sorry, Chetan, one quick thing, and I was going to complete this. I was going to we were talking about right to match, and the last bit where it all boils down to, as I said, go back to the thing, like right to match helps the ecosystem to determine the fair value of a cricketer.
Yeah.
But here is the bigger picture to this. Fair value to a cricketer that you desperately want in your 11 to balance it out in any which way, or fair value in a cricketer you think will be a long-term investment for you. So you know what? There is a huge slip here, and I think IPL's inability to understand this space in between is another subject altogether. But
Okay.
I'm just leaving it.
We'll have to move on. Let's go back to the second last comment that Sahil that you took, and let's put that up as a question. It's a very interesting question. We'll go to RCB after that. There was this question about why would somebody like a Surya Kumar Yadav? There you go. I think it's a very fair question. It makes sense in a way. मैं बताता हूँ उसका reason क्या है. ठीक है, आपको मुंबई इंडियंस के साथ रहना है, आप रहिए. All that is very good, and personally, I don't see Sky leaving. But it's a good question. It's a good thought process. Sahil, what do you think now? He's India captain. Doesn't he want IPL captaincy? क्योंकि MI पे इस साल तो शायद नहीं मिलेगी captaincy.
Yeah, I think if you just rewind yourself to the start of the T20 series versus Bangladesh, Surya Kumar Yadav attended a press conference and there was a very smart question by one of the journalists where he was asked about IPL captaincy and Surya just didn't shoot down the question. He gave a tongue-in-cheek reply कि गुगली मार दिया आपने मेरे को तो अब गुगली मार दिया तो दिमाग में कप्तानी चल रहा है और क्यों नहीं चलेगा every player is bound to have those personal ambitions, right? And all those heartbreak emojis when Hardik was announced captain, when his return was formalized, and all those things. We all know what happened inside the MI camp, and
Yes.
things weren't where they were supposed to be. Every player was harboring those captaincy hopes, and Jasprit Bumrah. Abhi at an event for a newspaper where he spoke at length about captaincy and how he considers himself to be the best captain. तो बुमराह को भी कप्तानी चाहिए, सूर्या को भी कप्तानी चाहिए, हार्दिक तो कप्तानी है, कप्तान है ही, रोहित आपको टाइटल दे चुका है, तो फिर क्या करे, तिलक वर्मा को थोड़ी कैप्टन बना देंगे, अब बनेगा तो इनमें से ही ना. And that is where you kind of expect MI to take these tough calls, these bold calls. They were trolled left, right, and center for that Hardik trade last time, and Srini has been advocating not the Hardik move, but I clearly remember Srini explaining at length last year about why this is so good for the players because they finally get to kind of have something in control. कि अगर transfer हो रहा है, that ecosystem is growing. That ecosystem is growing and players have a choice. They have an option. अभी तो मतलब ऐसा मार्केट प्लेस बन गया कि आरटीएम के अंदर भी प्लेयर धुक धुक करके बैठा होगा, फिंगर्स क्रॉस करके, या माई 1 करोड़ बढ़ा देगा तो इसके पास खेलना पड़ेगा भाई, एक कम में तेरे से ही खेल लेता हूं मैं. सो ऑल दीज थिंग्स टेंड टू प्ले अपॉन प्लेयर्स माइंड्स. सो we are not ready as a IPL ecosystem. As viewers, we are not ready. हमने हार्दिक को गोल्ड डिगर बोला था लास्ट ईयर कि ज्यादा पैसे के लिए एमआई चला गया. किसी ने इस बात पे थॉट नहीं दिया that he had emotions attached to the franchise. It's like home for him.
I want to move ahead very quickly, but उससे पहले एक simple सा question now because we are on this topic. And one line answer, not more than that. One line answer from Srini and Tagore sir. How many years Hardik has as captain? मतलब अगर इस साल नहीं चला, एमआई ने नहीं जीता, एमआई नॉकआउट्स में नहीं पहुंचा, is that the end of the road for Hardik as captain? Because we already have two players there who think they should be captain. Vijay sir, let's go with you.
See, me?
Yeah,
Yes,
please go ahead.
So it is like this, Chetan. See, in Mumbai Indians, they removed Rohit as the captain and brought Hardik as the captain. So nobody wanted that, but they wanted for the sake of the franchisees interest, they did that. So that is one thing. But whoever is the captain doesn't matter in Mumbai Indians. They will exist. There is a bit of disappointment, but have to live with that. I personally think that. But Rohit, I will not be surprised, but I don't have this information. If they bring back Rohit as the captain, because so for his stature after winning the World Cup, so we cannot say all these things. Anybody can be captain.
Okay, anybody.
Sorry, more than one line.
नहीं सब चलता है वो. Let's move on to RCB because we have some questions with RCB as well, and I think we'll play that question as well. Let's move on to RCB. Faf नहीं दिखाई दे रहे इसमें मुझे, and I think that's the big question, isn't it? As a captain, and I think it's a good time for a question. Why? CPL में he got a victory, right? Third highest run getter in the CPL, or was he the fourth highest? Something like that.
Don't forget what he did at the MLC for the Chennai outfit.
There you go. So
Faf was in
RCB don't retain him. So yeah, first of all, let's start with RCB. Is RCB retaining Faf? And if not Faf, then Faf might go to CSK at a lower price or to somebody else at a lower price because he's still performing at the top of his game. What is RCB thinking here? Because ये सवाल आया भी था. Let's take up that question as well. If Faf is not captain, who is going to be captain? और उसका एक reason है ये क्योंकि they are flirting with KL Rahul. Does Virat Kohli want to be captain again? Because very honestly, is there a senior figure to take over captaincy at RCB? If Virat doesn't want captaincy, आप Faf को नहीं retain कर रहे, who is going to be RCB captain? There you go. Will RCB retain Faf and will he be captain? Considering his age and they're looking for 3 more years, will Virat Kohli take back captaincy? So let's get both your point of views. Let's start with Sahil and then Vijay sir.
I think, Chetan, you've rightly mentioned. I personally don't feel, and I'm just going by cricketing logic, no insider information, no tips of anywhere. Pure cricketing logic. You're investing in a side for the next 3 years. Fab Duplessis, yes, recency, form bias is on his side, but boss, I'm practically looking at the next 3 years. So
Hmm.
before today, why I say today, because of the piece of the news which has come in from the Australian media that Cameron Green will not be fit to bowl for the first half of the Border Gavaskar Trophy. So that means he's going to manage his body better than he did this year, which means he could well pick and choose IPL games or even the tournament. I was looking at Cameron Green when it came to captaincy for RCB. बहुत एकदम आउट ऑफ द बॉक्स सजेशन था, बट मेरे को उसके बियॉन्ड कोई दिख नहीं रहा था. सो अगर मैं रिटेंशन में कोहली देखता हूँ, रजत पाटीदार देखता हूँ, सिराज देखता हूँ, ग्रीन देखता हूँ, इसमें मेरा कैप्टनसी ऑप्शन कौन है? कैमरन ग्रीन है.
Okay, let's go with Srini and Vijay. Vijay sir, what is your option here? एक नाम यहाँ पे और missing है, and that is Glenn Maxwell. Doesn't seem like Glenn Maxwell will be retained by RCB. Is that a fair call?
Yeah.
Is that has been a fair
So
return?
beyond after Virat Kohli, anybody can be, can be they can be brought back by through RPM. So I think
Okay.
even Mohammad Siraj is an option to retain him for 14 crores or 11 crores. Cameron Green maybe, but after that I don't see it. That Rajat Patidar is can be bought back by by RPM.
Right, RTM. Okay. So, okay,
Hmm.
let's be honest here. Apart from Virat Kohli, we may not see any other retention. ये हम अभी बोल रहे हैं. RCB का कुछ अता पता नहीं है. Anything they can do. But as of now, does it seem like any more retentions? Srini, what are your thoughts?
Virat Kohli, I mean, just to keep the economy of their entire ecosystem alive, only one retention is enough. विराट कोहली एंड जब
Okay.
अगर ट्रॉफी जीतना चाहते हैं तो देन दे हैव टू लिटरली गो टू द ऑक्शन विद अ गुड पर्स एंड सम सेंस
Are you sure?
आई रियली थिंक they won't retain anybody outside of Virat. They will use the right to match
Okay.
whether they can, but at the current values I don't see any reason why they should retain cricketers and block their money.
Okay, just very quickly, 15 करोड़ में last year you brought in Cameron Green. पूरा middle order आपका balance बिगड़ गया. You did not know what to do, whether to bat him in top 4, in top 3, top 5. Glenn Maxwell का form चला गया उस वजह से. You did not know what to do with Glenn Maxwell as well. Are you seriously not retaining Cameron Green as well?
You asking me?
Any of you?
No,
Well,
I
see,
really want, Srini, I really want to take this one because I think a lot
yeah.
is being made of what Cameron Green did. I think where RCB messed it up again was the way they handled Rajat Patidar in the first half of the tournament. Look what that boy did in the second half when you gave him that vote of confidence. He was firing on all cylinders. He was belligerent against spin, and that's what you needed to do. You need to stick with Rajat Patidar at 3. Glenn
Hmm.
Maxwell is not your son-in-law that you can, have him bat wherever he wants, whenever he wants. You make him play wherever he wants, whenever he wants. That's not how franchises win tournaments. RCB
Yeah.
need to know how you win tournaments. And for that to happen, Rajat Patidar, domestic player, नंबर 3 पे खिलाओ, 4 पे कैम ग्रीन को खिलाओ, 5 पे एक सॉलिड कीपर बैट्समैन लाओ, डीके का रिप्लेसमेंट ढूंढो. सबसे पहले कैप्टन की बात कर रहे हो, फिनिश कौन करेगा गेम? क्योंकि स्टार्ट तो विराट 60 पे 60 करके खत्म कर देगा गेम.
As of now, okay, that is another debate कि 60 पे 60 good enough है या नहीं है. That is a separate debate. उस पे बहुत लोग अपनी opinion देते हैं. But as of today, RCB don't have a captain. तो keeper finisher बाद में आएगा. They don't have a captain. What we'll do now is we'll not go team wise. What we'll do, we have 5-7 minutes to finish off this episode. What we'll do is we'll take questions and comments, and depending on those questions and comments, we'll take the teams accordingly. So let's start with the question and comments, because last 7-10 minutes, let's do the comments as much as possible, क्योंकि हम लोग डिस्कस करते रहेंगे. Rashid Khan, last mega option, he surprised by leaving SRH. Can he go to the auction? He can be captain of LSG or Punjab Kings. और तजिंदर पाजी, लग रहा है कि आप पंजाब किंग्स के फैन हैं, आप चाहते हैं कि राशिद खान वहां पर आए. But personally, I don't see him leaving Gujarat Titans. What do you guys think? Yes or no? No chance of Rashid Khan leaving.
I don't see him leave. Depends what he wants.
Shrini,
यार,
you're
मतलब 14
muted.
करोड़,
Shrini, you're muted.
14 करोड़ पे रुक जाएगा.
If I was any franchise and I had a check of 18 CR to share, to give it to someone, I mean, among the top guys, I'd blindly give it to one of them would be Rashid Khan. So why will I
And we know
let Rashid Khan go? There's no
No
chance.
chance. No chance. No
Every
chance. I
single
saw
rupee given to him is worth its weight in gold.
तजिंदर जो है वो पंजाब किंग्स के फैन है, उन्होंने ना बहुत चीकीली उन्होंने पंजाब किंग्स बीच में ऐड कर दिया. भाविक हसवानी कह रहे हैं दिल्ली कैपिटल्स का कोचिंग अपडेट. साहिल, what update do we have there?
No, there's something happening. There's something happening behind the scenes in Delhi Capitals. So we'll have to wait before GMR kind of takes control of operations. That's what happens because of
Okay.
the arrangement which JSW and GMR have in place to run the teams. And this time
Okay.
it's GMR's turn. So I think some paperwork is pending, and GMR were busy acquiring the county in England. So now that that is done, I think they'll move to the more serious business of running this IPL team. And some updates are expected later this month. And some names are already cropping in. And for
सौरव गांगुली नहीं रहेंगे, ये पक्का है.
Okay.
There you
And I have a follow-up question here with Ricky Ponting going to Punjab Kings and away from Saurav Ganguly and away from Delhi Capitals. Do we see a
no,
much
but what do
better?
you mean by away from Saurav Ganguly, Chetan? I
You
think
know
I
what
don't
I
really
mean.
like
You
the
know what
tone
I
of
mean.
that
You know what
statement.
I mean. You know what I mean. I am asking about Ricky Ponting at Punjab Kings. How do you see that? Will he have a more freer hand? Are we going to see a better coaching stint than we saw with DC? Because Punjab Kings need it. You know, if there's one franchisee which needs a good, successful return in the next 3 years, that's Punjab Kings. Otherwise, kar kya rahe ho, boss? Anybody? Vijay sir, let's start with you. Ricky Ponting at Punjab Kings.
See,
Is it going to be different? Is it going to be different from DC?
Ricky Ponting coming, the typical Australian, aggressive, typical professional Australian. I understand he has signed a 4-year contract with
Yeah.
a lot of,
Okay.
not 2 or 3 years, a 4-year contract. And second thing, he will want total freedom.
Okay.
Same thing he wanted in Mumbai Indians also. When there were so many stars were there, but he said anybody can give suggestions, but they should give suggestions to me, not directly to the player. If you remember, so
Yeah.
he had gone on record saying that Anil was the mentor there. He said Anil
Yeah.
can give a suggestion, but he has to come give suggestion to me, not directly to the player. So
Correct.
he will
Yes.
have put some lot of conditions. And I think Punjab Kings will retain 1 or 2 players. I know they will do a lot of RTM. That is why
Yeah.
they were not asking for too many retentions.
Okay. Okay.
See, another thing with Punjab is, it's the only franchise in this ecosystem where the owners need a coach more desperately than the players. Somebody needs to work with the
Maybe
owners to kind of tell them that,
there needs
a bit of consistency will help.
No, I agree with that. I think there needs to be a fresh input brought in at Punjab Kings. There's something that's not really working there. And like I said, अगर आप अगले 3 साल में भी कुछ नहीं कर पाते हैं तो इतने सालों से आप कर क्या रहे हैं IPL में? Let's move on to the next comment. Let's take the next comment and let's see which team are we talking about. UV as Delhi Capitals coach. Yes, there was a lot of noise about this. Do you see this happening, Vijay sir?
I don't know. Conflicting information is coming through. There may be or may not be,
Okay.
but it is an option. I think they are exploring. But
Okay,
where
that's
do UV and Saurav will they be able to coexist, or what Srini says is Saurav will not be there? But now that at this
That
point
is
of
day
time, for
because of
next 2
11.
years, GMR will have to manage. The first next 2 years, GMR will manage.
But,
After that, they have come
but
to an agreement.
yeah, we
Yeah,
know
go
2
ahead.
years, 2 years. Yeah, 2 years with
2
JSW, 2 years
years,
with
and they have accept
yeah,
the retentions and option. Everything
together.
else can be independently done.
Yeah,
The retention has to be done in together, and
together.
even the
Okay,
auction also they will do it together. But
together.
coaching staff, management, everything can be up to the individual owner.
Yeah.
So we
Which is
do
a
not
very
know
weird, on the face.
Kiran
Yeah, go ahead. थोड़ा
if
lag है.
Kiran wants UV, I don't know. It is a possibility, but I'm not 100% sure at this stage.
Okay, we'll take the next question. अगर time है तो yeah, okay. RCB qualifies 4 out of 5. They build good team but don't go all the way. Okay, अगर आप कहते हो कि if it was a good team, ठीक है. आपकी opinion है, we respect. I
That's a
don't think.
bias, Chetan. You're not allowing me to defend my team. You're not
Oh,
allowing me
you
to
can.
defend
You
my
can.
team.
Okay, you know what? We are in October. RCB is not winning next season. Okay? We are in October before
RCB are
mega.
going to top 4. Virat is having a bumper season again.
Okay, you take home the top 4 trophy. You agree with Anil Sarkar. I don't. Okay, next question.
I think we are kind of repeating.
Where
We
is
are
the
kind of.
trophy? Show us the trophy. Show us the
Oh,
trophy.
I think I have one last question. I think it's a
Okay,
good
we'll take
question.
one last question to close
Because
this episode.
oh god,
Yeah.
there are so many that it's getting lost. So it was about SRH. So Chetan, you can take the cue. It's about
Okay.
SRH retentions. We haven't discussed that. I think it
Okay,
should be
let's
a
have
good
the.
note to end the show.
Okay,
Yeah, head
that's a good
comes
one. That's a
Abhishek.
good one. Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
think this is an important team. We haven't discussed KKR also, लेकिन अभी शुरू हुआ है तो जैसे जैसे न्यूज आएंगी we'll discuss because we don't want to lengthen the episode and we'll come back and this is a daily thing Monday to Friday 6:15 we'll be daily here so जैसे जैसे न्यूज आएगी हम लोग करेंगे discuss. Let's talk about SRH as the last thing. Who are we looking at as Travis Head after those performances, the World Cup performance? You can't really drop him. Abhishek Sharma, the rising star. Pat Cummins for me is the big one. क्योंकि यहाँ पर हमने एक चीज डिस्कस नहीं की है and that is overseas players. Okay, and उसका reason मैं ये कहूँगा this year India is going to Australia. It's going to be a heavy summer. There's going to be a World Test Championship. Then next year England goes to Australia, plays the Ashes. It's going to be very heavy for Australia. Do we see Pat Cummins coming back and saying, okay, you know what, I don't want to play next season? लेकिन उसमें एक और rule भी है, and Vijay sir can expand on that. If you don't go in next season, then you're not for the next 2 years as well. क्योंकि आप mini auction का rule exploit नहीं कर सकते. So we have Abhishek Sharma, Klaasen, Head, and Cummins. What are your options, gentlemen, one by one? Vijay sir, we'll start with you.
See, that is we actually missed out. That is the best thing from these auction rules are the crackdown on foreign players, earning foreign players. So they
Yes.
cannot go. That is a superb measure taken by IPL.
Hmm.
So I think they will go. Abhishek Sharma will be number one. He is the hottest IPL player at this stage. And
Okay.
after that, I think Pat Cummins will go for number three or number four, 18-18. And in between, Travis Head, that Henrik Carlsen, and I think they might go for this Nitish Kumar Reddy.
Okay, Nitish Kumar Reddy, very interesting pick. Srini, your choices, and then Sahil. And also Srini,
Yeah, I think
your thoughts on that overseas rule. वो हमने miss कर दिया. Sorry about that, but I think that's a very very important rule. The overseas players cannot game the mini auction. When I say game the mini auction, कि आप mini auction में जाओ जहाँ पे आपको inflated मिल जाए, 25 करोड़ मिल जाए, आपकी
no. So
performance ना हो. That way, yeah.
so here's what is happening. Three things that I'll divide this into. Number one, I think Kavya Maran, as a team owner who spoke at the owners meeting, one of the most intelligent people in the room. She spoke very well, and it was one of her ideas that let's do away with this whole idea of you can only retain these many Indian players and only these many foreign players. Like leave it to the franchise. Once you figure out how many foreigners need to be in a team and how many maximum overseas players can play in the 11, once you've figured that out, then leave it to the franchise to decide how many overseas players they want to retain and how many Indians. By virtue of that, she's opened the gates to make sure that a Klaasen, Head, and Cummins, all three can be retained. So
Okay.
that credit goes to her. That's number one.
Okay.
Number two is, again, I mean, so what the BCCI identified was that players were using smaller auctions as an easier way to get into the ecosystem where franchisees would go in with a decent purse, but to fill in just one or two slots. Because what mini auctions would do is, kind of keep all the bigger slots more or less taken. So, ideally a franchise would go looking for either a fast bowler or one opener or one particular middle order batsman, something like that. In that, these guys would kind of raise some kind of a bidding frenzy and walk away with top dollar, which is what we saw with Cummins and Stark, and obviously the World Cup played a huge role there, and we saw them walking away. So what the BCCI wants to do is kind of put a curb on that. What they
Hmm.
want to do is put major emphasis on the mega auction. And that is why they've said that if you don't figure in our mega auctions, then you'll have to miss the subsequent auction. That's number one. And the other bit is if a player were to feign injury, which again, some overseas players in the past have done, they've gone to the auction, seen what kind of value they got. And like let's be very honest, if a Cummins or a Stark now go to the auction and let's say a franchise bids less than 10 CR, will they be as excited as they were earlier this year? Maybe not. So if they were
But
to
there's
say no,
another
we are
rule.
injured, what the BCCI has said that let
Yeah.
the National Cricket Academy take a call on the nature and seriousness of that injury. Although I'm not very sure how exactly the NCA is going to wrap its head around. They can't go to a Clark, Stark or a Cummins and say, come and do some testing with us. That's not going to happen. So there's got to be some
They
groundwork
can
to be done on that front. But
they can always have a communication. मतलब वो हमेशा क्रिकेट ऑस्ट्रेलिया के साथ बात कर सकते हैं कि क्रिकेट
exactly.
ऑस्ट्रेलिया
So they've
बोले
still got to wrap their
ओके
heads around
they
how
know
they're going to make that work.
yeah
They
okay
still got to kind of figure out the process behind it. But the thought
yeah
process behind it is perfect. And I don't see any problem with that.
okay Sahil, closing comment on you from you on SRH. क्या सोचते हो, क्या क्या रहेगा? I think these four are good picks. Nitish Kumar Reddy could be a right to match, but maybe 5 retentions as well. You never know, because these are big players. ये बड़े players हैं यार.
Yeah. I think Cummins has to sort his priorities. As you mentioned about Australia's packed season, I think they've had that notorious reputation of choosing their IPL seasons as per Australia's international calendar. 2024 was good enough. It kind of
Hmm.
was cramped up between white ball assignments, and it kind of preceded a T20 World Cup. So it worked well for them. Both Cummins and Stark made themselves available. 20 प्लस सीआर कमिंग इन देयर हाउस, मजा आया दोनों को. बट अभी लाल बॉल क्रिकेट बहुत होने वाला है, so whether they'll be available for that is anybody's guess. I think SRH management would have already started making calls to Cummins, because he's going to be a top pick and your captaincy pick if he's available for the complete season. And uske baad Abhishek, Klaasen, Head. If I have personally an option between Head and Klaasen, I'll go towards Travis Head for 11 CR. I can get Klaasen at a cheaper value with my
No,
RTM.
no.
11
Seriously?
11
Klaasen
हाँ,
has to be 14 CR यार, क्या बात कर रहा है?
नहीं सस्ता
No.
उठा लोगे.
Klaasen
उठा
is
लोगे.
Klaasen यार, Klaasen is Klaasen.
अरे
Anyway,
उठा लोगे.
okay.
So last Nitish Reddy का प्लान खराब कर दिया गौतम गंभीर ने. और ये गंभीर हो सकता है इज डूइंग केकेआर अ फेवर. अभी तक हर्षित राणा को डेब्यू नहीं दिया है, तो हर्षित राणा स्टिल इज एन अनकैप्ड प्लेयर. सो नीतीश रेड्डी का प्लानिंग खराब कर दिया उसको डेब्यू देके. अदरवाइज ही कुड हैव बीन योर परफेक्ट अनकैप्ड प्लेयर पिक. नाउ ही इज नॉट. So as Vijay sir said, he's an exciting player, and they kind of unleashed him last year only.
Mayank Yadav is also no more an uncapped player. Anyway, so what we'll do is, it's been a great conversation. हम यहीं पे close करेंगे आज की topic को. और we've been talking about the IPL retentions. But हम लोग रोज करते हैं ये show 6:15 PM. We will be on the TOI Sports page. आप X पे follow कीजिए, YouTube पे subscribe कीजिए. Soon we will be on Facebook as well. So 3 जगह पे आप देख सकते हैं, YouTube पे, X पे और Facebook पे. And we will be coming every day 6:15 Monday to Friday. For now, Monday to Friday. और जैसे जैसे न्यूज ब्रेक होती जाएंगी हम लोग डिस्कस करेंगे. और कल इंडिया का सेकंड T20 है, कल इंडिया विमेंस वर्सेस श्रीलंका विमेंस भी है. So we'll be talking 6:15 PM about those 2 matches. For now, it's goodbye. Thank you Sahil, thank you Srini, and thank you Vijay sir. Vijay sir with his debut, broadcast debut, digital platform debut with us, and he will be joining us again and again. Whenever he breaks those big stories. So thank you all of you for joining, and this is Chetan Narula signing off. See you tomorrow, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.